Caterpillar got hit with $100 million patent infringement fine.
Yeah, I got that pulled up too.
Interesting. Don't mind me. I gotta scratch my eyeballs. Go ahead.
All right, so there's gonna be a lot of back and forth today with looking off screen because we're gonna read some stuff off of just some fine things that we looked at from the Googles. Welcome to the Liquid Dinosaur Show. Like always, I am your host, the Automotive Ewok, and of course, I'm joined by my co-host Doc.
Hey, how
Today
y'all
is
doing?
today we're just got some things we're gonna go over. We're gonna address some of the comments that we've gotten, and we're gonna set the record straight on a couple of things. All right, Doc, where do you want to begin? You want to go off just what we were talking about?
Yeah, probably. It's I've been seeing a lot of this. So.
All right, so you guys are aware, I've been seeing a lot of things on social media about the EPA getting rid of DEF, um, really deregulating. I don't foresee them getting rid of DEF. It's just there's too much money involved in it. But I have it pulled up on the EPA's website. So as I'm going through kind of like the highlighted points that I found, Doc's gonna talk about what he found.
Sounds good.
What were you talking about with the tuners and deletes and all that?
Yeah, a lot of forums talking about. There's some of them are thinking that it's they're just setting you up so if you do start putting tuners and deleters up on the internet for trucks and whatnot, that they'll just makes it easier for them to find you and whatnot like that. A lot of guys are saying that they didn't change it's still illegal to delete your truck, but they're saying that a lot of it is a bait and switch to make people more likely vocal about selling the delete kits. Interesting thought. But then, like the one guy said, not to get political, but it is evidently as much political as it is anything, saying that it doesn't matter because in 3 years, if the dummy rats get in, that they'll change it back again.
Democrat, really? So what's a delete for the guys who don't know that or more on the automotive side? So when we talk about delete in the diesel world, that is deleting your after treatment system. So your diesel exhaust fluid, your EGRs, your diesel oxidation catalyst, your diesel particulate filters, your selective catalytic reproduction system, and your decomposition chamber, which we'll go into that and what all that is in a different episode. Just kind of give you the gist. But if you look on the EPA's website, literally EPA.gov news release, EPA launches biggest deregulation action in U.S. history, and what it says is. So what they're focusing on is reconsidering regulations on power plants, regulations throttling the oil and gas industry. So that's going to be more on the lines of how we get gas and oil. Reconsideration of mercury and air toxic standards that improperly targeted coal-fired power plants. Reconsideration of mandatory greenhouse gas reporting program. So that might be the CAFE standards.
Yeah. It sounds like, with the advent of opening coal mines and coal-fired plants and stuff, that lessening the restrictions on them, which we know is going to help the economy because it's going to put people back to work, in the coal industry. And, a lot of people might have different ideas about the coal industries, but you know what? Those guys provide a needed benefit also to economy and to the world and whatnot. Because if you walk around and see all of these wind-powered generators, if they had them all hooked up to power the world, we wouldn't have needed anything. But the reality of it is, it don't seem to be working the way they thought it was going to.
Well, and me and Jade started writing notes about a Landman breakdown. Landman is a Taylor Sheridan show that's on Paramount Plus. It's all about the oil industry.
Yeah.
In the show, I sent you the short of it. He's talking about renewable energy and how it's really not all that renewable and it's really not cost effective. And he makes a comment. He says if wind power is so good for the environment, you would see all the big guys put them everywhere, and you don't.
Well, and then you have those graveyards of all that garbage from that when them things fall over and break and
Right.
expire, and then you got, I can't remember how much oil it is it takes on them daggum things, but you've got, that's considered a toxic waste. It's kind of like a transformer, the oil in it, they gotta do something with that stuff too. So it's like, uh, well, and like here, I can't remember. I think it's what? Yes.
A wind turbine typically uses synthetic oils for lubrication, with a 5 megawatt turbine needing around 700 gallons.
Yeah. Like I said, it's got to go somewhere. And then last year, I think it was a hailstorm went through somewhere here in the U.S. and it wiped out these solar panels, and it was miles and miles of glass solar panels just beat to oblivion. It's just, what do they got to do with all of the broken glass and all the garbage there? And it's just like the trade-off doesn't seem to be uh, beneficial,
Okay, so it uses a PAO, poly, whatever the hell, synthetic oil, so probably like a 30 weight,
or it
maybe a
might be
50
that
weight.
zero weight oil they're talking about.
I don't think so
I
because it
know
says it's 30.
I'm just spinning up.
Get it spinning up. So funny. But
Well, we not to interrupt you. We was going to talk about what the heck zero weight was, so I thought I'd throw that in there.
yeah, zero weight eight. That doesn't make any sense to me. So it takes 700 gallons of lubricant, which automatically now you're not even. I don't know how that's considered renewable energy at this point. Oil change intervals are typically scheduled 9 to 16 months,
Wow.
and it is designed for minimize oil leaks. So it's got to be a thicker oil.
Yeah.
They are not completely leak proof, and secondary containment methods are used.
Yeah.
Wow.
That makes you wonder, doesn't it?
So, and then there's a little category that says, why is oil needed? Oil is crucial for lubricating the gearbox, hydraulic system, and other moving parts, ensuring smooth and efficient operation. So, is this a hydrostatic setup? They're literally just using the turbine to spin a freaking just a generator to power the hydraulic systems to build
Yeah.
power.
Yeah.
Kind of like the same way that the big mining equipment does it, except they use a diesel engine to do it.
Right. It's a way of you know, the generator needs lubrication. The gearbox needs lubrication, blah blah blah.
Okay, well, that hurts. All right.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so back to the EPA thing on the website. So
Yeah.
reconsideration of limitations, guidelines, and standards for steam electric power generating industry. Reconsideration of wastewater regulations for oil and gas development. So that's got to be fracking. So that's gonna piss the liberals off.
Yeah.
And then reconsideration of Biden-Harris administration risk management program rule that made America's oil and natural gas refineries and chemical facilities less safe. Okay. We're gonna have to go a deep dive on that one because I'm really curious of where they're getting that from.
Yeah.
And then it says now this is where I think these next four is
Yeah.
where okay, this whole category is because it says lowering the cost of living for American families. I think this is where a lot of what we're talking about with the deaf and all that other stuff's coming from.
Yeah.
So let me read all these to you, and if actually want to, let's do it a little bit differently, Doc.
Okay.
So as
I was
I'm
I
reading
was
this,
I was working up the rough estimate of rough $14,000, give or take a couple $1,000 for one change of oil on that 700 gallon. And I mean that's at $20. That's at $20 a quart because it's synthetic. I don't know what brand or any of the other stuff of it. So roughly,
it probably takes a special oil, so it's probably more on the lines of like 40 to 60 bucks a quart.
yeah. So you figure, and you said every 6 months,
9 to 16.
what 100,000 give or take a year, and
Yeah, and
hopefully
that's
the wings and the arms and the thing don't fall over.
well, and that's on one of them. And they have when you see a windmill tournament. Like, what is it? Like 8 or 9 of them, maybe 10 or more on a row.
Well, I don't know. Outside of some places there in Colorado and California, there's miles and miles of
Now you got me curious.
them.
See, here we go again. We're doing. See, guys, you get to see an actual like in real rabbit hole of what me and Doc go through every time we talk on the phone. Let's see. Okay. The cost of oil services for wind turbine can vary, but typically range from $1 to $2 per kilowatt for lubrications. And routine maintenance costs. That ain't right. Hold on.
No, that would be like no.
Okay, so overall, and I don't know how they. This is probably one of them uh, bureaucratic bullshit ways of trying to say that we're being cost effective without saying we're being cost effective. Basically, them trying to cover their ass is what it is.
Yeah,
It says, according to the U.S. Department of Energy, offshore wind operation and maintenance costs were 22.15 cents per kilowatt produced. Uh-huh.
but then the question would be, who's got the figure of kilowatts produced? Is that some mystical figure they pull from the dark recesses of their backside?
It's an average.
Oh,
And they're breaking it down from wind farm. They're not. It's not individual.
yeah.
Somebody's math ain't mathing.
Okay, mine says roughly 42 to 48,000 a year for one wind generator.
That's still a lot of money.
That's still a lot of money. And if you say you got 10 of them, $480,000. Now the top answer on this is that it costs $60,000 a year, which is probably more realistic. Today's cost.
Yeah, 60 grand. That's just one in there. How many is?
And
Hold
it
on. Let's
says
see.
new blades, the propeller chingaderas, cost
Yeah.
$200,000 a piece.
How much?
200,000.
Holy crap. Okay, so an average commercial wind turbine requires approximately 1.5 acres. But it's being constructed and installed. The land required for a wind turbine farm can be anything from 25 to 40 acres. That's a lot.
And
So, how? Go for
it
it.
says if a crane is required to repair or replace a blade, that the cost can run up to $350,000 a week for the crane.
Somebody's already done their research on this.
Yeah, this is pretty in depth.
Holy crap. So it's an acre and a half per windmill.
Yeah, that's a lot of ground.
So
They
that would
had
mean
to,
on a 40 acre, that's 20 of them.
yeah, and I don't know if they're renting the ground or if they bought the ground.
A lot of times it's a land lease.
Yeah, so see that on top of it.
So you said how much was it per individual one
Um, you mean for the blades?
for the service?
Mine said it can run an average of $1,600 a day.
Still a lot.
Well, you figure, okay, on the calculator, that
Okay, but how much? How much?
$1,600 a day times, well, we figure 30 days in a month. I know there's more. That's $48,000 a month. And that's what we
Okay,
said, $60,000 for maintenance. Now, that's provided you don't have to replace any of the propeller things and, the lightning don't smoke it. And
right. Is that per individual unit?
yeah,
So if it's 48,000 a month per unit, right?
yeah, times 20 or whatever.
So it's 26 can fit on a 40,000 40 acre lot. Come on, what the heck's going on here? Okay, now my computer wants to work, right? That means that's $1.2 million, $1,248,000 a month.
Yeah.
Where's
So
that
that,
money coming from?
yeah, exactly.
That's
Probably
interesting.
from the fines to the EPA.
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
not gonna get into that right now.
did I say that? I'm sorry.
You did, and you enjoyed it. All right, so back to the EPA thing.
Yeah.
Way to bring that right back. That was good on you. So I'm gonna read this, and we're gonna do this a little bit differently.
Okay.
So instead of me reading it all the way, as soon as that light bulb clicks, 'cause I know it's gonna click, Just go, and I'll shut up. All right, you ready for this?
Yes, sir.
Reconsideration of light duty, medium duty, and heavy duty vehicle regulations that provided the foundation for the Biden Harris electric vehicle mandate. Reconsideration of the 2009 endangerment finding and regulations actions that rely on that finding. Endangered finding, grocery stores, and semiconductor manufacturing. Reconsideration of the particulate matter national ambient air quality standards that shut down opportunities for American manufacturing and small businesses. Restructuring and regional haze program that threaten the supply of affordable energy for American families. Overhauling Biden Harris administration's social cost of carbon. Redirecting enforcement resources to EPA's core mission to relieve the economy of unnecessary bureaucratic burdens that drive up the cost for American consumers. Terminating Biden's environmental justice and DEI arms of agency.
Political bullshit speech.
So, and where did the gears slip? Because I'm surprised you didn't make a couple comments.
Well, I was listening to it, and it was like I said, a lot of political bullshit speech about Biden and Harris and what they did to screw up the country. But personal opinion. Anyway, their emissions, the standards, from what I gather, they didn't relax them. They're still in place.
But so particularly the reconsideration of particular matter national ambient air quality standards. That's the California Green Act. Sounds like EPA is going to have to give Cummins some money back.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, there's going to be a lot of them involved, but the one key word in that is California, and as long as they're involved in it, you can forget about that garbage.
Hold on. Ending so-called good neighborhood plan, which is the Biden-Harris administration's used to expand federal rules to move more states and sectors beyond the program's traditional focus that led to rejection of nearly all state implemented plans.
Yeah, but it left in place one state.
Well, it's
Which one
ending
was
it.
that? Yeah, but which state did they leave in place?
California.
Absolutely, that's the one that's
But
driving it all.
but it's ending it, so it's going to be state by state basis, like it should be.
Yeah,
Working
true
with
that.
states.
I
Go.
said true that.
I just want to let you finish.
No, I'm
Go
done.
ahead, all you had to say. Okay. Working with states and tribes to resolve massive backlog with state implementation plans and tribal implementation plans that our Biden-Harris administration refused to resolve. Reconsideration of exceptional events rulemaking to work with states to prioritize the allowance of prescribed fires with state and tribal implementation plans. But I can't read today. It's almost I got up too early.
Probably did.
That one doesn't matter to us. For prioritizing coal ash program to expedite state permit reviews and update coal ash regulations, utilizing enforcement discretion to further North Carolina's recovery from Hurricane Helene.
Yeah. Well, I agree with North Carolina, backing off on them, let them recover from the kerfuffle that the cloud seeding give them. But did I say that too?
Okay,
I'll
let's
have to get my
see.
I'll have to get my tinfoil hat back.
You're going there right now, huh? All right. So there's an update for. Oh, come on. Government websites, apparently they like to make things a pain in the butt. All right, where do we want to get into? Do we want to go into construction? Do we want to get into? No, I want to get into what we care about: transportation and warehousing. Why not? So we got the greenhouse gas reporting program, uh, diesel boats and ships, locomotives, aircraft. Really? They're making rules about aircraft now?
Oh, they're covering everything.
Hold on, I'm curious. I'm very curious. Really? Way to break it down easy there. Heavy equipment regulations. Emissions from heavy equipment with spark ignition engines. That's got to be hydrogen?
Yeah.
And then emissions for heavy equipment with compression ignition diesel engines. Oh my goodness. So aircraft regulations, the greenhouse gas emissions from aircraft emission emissions from aircraft engines, lead emissions, information on contrails from aircraft, EPA collaboration with international air pollution standards for aircraft. Just a fancy way of saying the EPA and the EU are together on that.
Probably, yeah, real good.
Basic research. Do you really want to get into EPA 27 right now?
No, not right now. We need to
Yeah.
address some of our comments too, and then what they think, what Caterpillar and whatnot in Case. That was evidently was garbage that Case is taking them over.
Oh, that's not true. Yeah, never mind. I was gonna make a correction, but there's no need to correction. Oh my goodness, there is a new update.
Really?
Overview. Engines that are used in machines that perform a wide range of important jobs. These include excavators and other construction equipment, farm tractors and other agricultural equipment, forklifts, airport ground service equipment, and utility equipment such as generators, pumps, and compressors. EPA has adopted multiple tiers of emission standards. Most recently, we adopted a comprehensive national program to reduce emissions from non-road diesel engines by integrating engine and fuel controls to system to gain the greatest emission reductions. To meet these Tier 4 emission standards, which is EPA level, which we're going to EPA 27, engine manufacturers will produce new engines with advanced emission control technologies because the emission control devices can be damaged by sulfur. We also have adopted requirements for use diesel for in-use diesel fuel to decrease sulfur levels by more than 99%, resulting in the ultra low sulfur diesel fuel has maximal sulfur concentration of 15 parts per million. Which addresses our first comment. We had a comment saying that diesel fuel and gasoline is trash.
Well, we know that when they drop the sulfur rating on our fuel, you want to get an
Let
argument
me
there
let me
from
actually get
our.
into the actual comment. There's a few that really. We got another one that's just wrong. Okay, so American diesel is shit compared to the rest of the world. It has zero detergents and never had any raw, and it's garbage. Okay.
Okay.
Then it says it's not just modern diesel in the U.S. It's since the beginning of time. It's raw and has always been full of garbage and trash. It is the same with U.S. gasoline. Each region has different base levels of quality. The same company from one region to another region is different. So let's talk about what diesel is. It is a petroleum distillant fuel used in diesel engines. Really, you don't say. Pretty much just this crude oil that's distilled is pretty much what it is. The problem with it is the sulfur rating. Really?
Right.
Wait, what? Oh boy, they're working on a new diesel, synthetic diesel.
Well,
Diesel
that's
fuel can be
warm and fuzzy, don't it?
yeah, it can be produced synthetically from various carbon-bearing feedstocks such as natural gas, coal, and biomass.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh boy. So that's kind of what the new thing is, which is just going to be even more trash.
Yeah. It's just one here says that, and this is probably talking about that fuel you're talking about, that the OEMs have been working on a diesel fuel that containing detergents on fuel injector operation and efficiency for more complete combustion and reduction in emissions. This
Yeah.
benefits result in maximizing your fuel economy and engine horsepower while also reducing emissions and improving efficiency in the aftertreatment system. It's called Diesel X Gold. Inhibit formation of engine deposits, which if they got rid of EGR would do that anyway. It even removes deposits formed from using standard diesel fuels. So that is true, and they are adding that to that, but original diesel fuel has no detergents in it at all.
Well, I guess it depends on your definition of detergents, because some people would say that sulfur is a detergent.
Yeah, some people would say butter is an additive.
Someone's spicy today. It's not me, surprisingly. All right, so let's break this down simply. Diesel fuel, along with gasoline and other petroleum products, produced from crude oil through a process called refining. Really, you don't say. Diesel Diesel fuel is composed of complex mixture of hydrocarbons, which are molecules made up of carbon and hydrogen atoms. I mean, I wanted a very dumb explanation of this, but I didn't want that dumb. Now my head hurts.
Well, sulfur isn't a detergent, but it does have it. The compounds can be used in the production of detergents.
Really? Really?
Well, that's what it says.
Uh,
So we answered that question. Let's go on to another one before we hurt our heads.
did we? Is there anything else you want to? Okay, hold on. The most common type of fuel, diesel fuel, is made from petroleum, which is a process involves heating crude oil to in distillation columns, separating different hydrocarbon chains based on their boiling points, and then recondensing them.
Means basically remixing them.
I get it, but that just seems. The biggest problem with the diesel is it's basically the crap part of what gets pulled up. Jet fuel is like the finest stuff. Now, I was agreeing with the comment up until the gasoline part.
Yeah.
There's more to the region thing, so like other regions need more winterization than others.
Well, it's like right now in Arizona, they because of the you're especially where you're located, in the desert regions. So they supposedly, and I've heard this numerous times, have a special mix of gasoline for this is the oxygenated garbage. You know what I mean? That for these high heat areas, the driving and whatnot like that. I'll leave that there. That's uh, you know that'll run you down two or three different rabbit holes and get chased by a fox and maybe an airplane, or Alice might be down there and the Cheshire Cat and Mad Hatter.
Yeah, well, so the whole region thing, so like there's a lot of places that have 89, 87, 89, 91. But if you go to like Utah, it's 85, 87, 91.
And you go to some places, you get corn gas.
85.
Yeah,
Or you can go to some place and get 110, which is race fuel.
you betcha.
Yeah, but that shit ain't cheap. That's like $12 a gallon.
No
Hey,
kidding.
let me look it up real quick.
That's just plumb
Uh,
crazy.
Current price. What you know, that's his octane rating, which you can get octane boosters and all that other stuff.
Oh yeah, We did a study one time. How many cans of octane booster it takes to boost you 1 point? I'll see if I can find that.
So apparently, its Sonico standard is 110.
Yeah,
Just fun fact. Oh my goodness, I want to know how much it is for a gallon. Come on, work with me here. 84.98 if you buy it. Hold on. A 5 gallon pill is 125.
really.
That's bulk price. Heck yeah, son. That ain't. That, yeah, it's $12 a gallon. So if bulk prices for the raceway, it's $10 a gallon, $9 a drum. 112 is $12 a gallon, 11 for a drum. Methanol is $5 per gallon.
Wow.
All right, moving on.
So 1 12-ounce slammer would raise your octane rating level by approximately 1 point, depending on how much
Really?
fuel you take. Yeah,
That's it, huh?
that's it.
So we have a very old comment talking about when our first video when I was sitting there just shit talking the 4.0 Jeep engine, and it says that that's why some of us do minor modifications to do it for power, and honestly they improve mileage mostly because the carb is very restricted for air. Well, mine don't have a carb, mine's fuel injected. But I was looking into it, and a lot of guys put a bigger throttle body in it and all this other stuff.
Yeah,
But
that's a personal preference. That's an open door. It's like how much power can I get out of a Chevy 350 if I put a spark plug in it?
well,
And that's as redundant as it is, because the truth of the matter is you do to your Jeep what you want. If a guy's running a carbureted engine, put a big carburetor on it. It's whatever you do. These guys are going out rock crawling, doing whatever with them, but it's a personal preference deal.
Yeah, that, and I'm totally not using my Jeep for what it was designed for.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
using it
but
for a full-on service truck.
you
Which if you
do
go to
what you
the
got to do.
right, if you go to the Automotive Ewok channel, that's our second channel. That's our road service channel. You can see how loaded I have the Jeep. You can legitimately see how the rear end does not like me right now. You know,
But
I
you
looked it
know
up.
what's that?
The load capacity the Jeep has.
Yeah,
It's 96. It's 798 pounds.
is that right?
Yeah.
That's a load of gas, ain't it?
I have over 1,300 pounds in it right now.
You know, back to the Jeep deal. That's kind of like back there when I lived in California on the desert and we had sandrails. You know, it's your preference what you got in it. I mean, we had turbocharged Cadillac engines in them. We had uh, Corvair engines in them. We had Volkswagen hand grenades. I say that because anytime we started pushing them above 1635, it was a hand grenade waiting to happen, you know?
Well, that's what racing engines are. It's you're basically building another bomb.
So,
So it's
yeah,
not a
it's
matter of
personal
if, it's a
preference.
matter of when.
Absolutely.
Now, let me
Absolutely.
go further into the Jeep thing. So, how to explain this kindly? It's not the Jeep's fault that I am completely shit talking it. It was designed for low horsepower. It was designed for. It was literally designed for not what I'm using it for.
Well,
Could I
most of the
go?
time, it was
Hmm?
designed for like a grocery getter, wasn't it?
That can go off road.
Right. That if you got snow or, et cetera, you might be able to use the 4-wheel drive and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, it's only 2-wheel drive, so.
Well, anyway, still.
But so it does good for what it's designed for. My problem is I went from a over 1,000 horsepower Cummins to a stock Cummins to a tuned BMW, which all have turbos. The whole point is I went from, three 360 horsepower plus to 178, and it's not for me. That's the biggest problem.
So you went from a jet plane to a turtle with a racing stripe, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And the whole point behind the Cummins swap that we want to do on it is A, it's 100% like Doc's fault. I am blaming Doc for the engine that's going in it. I always wanted to do a Cummins swap. Just I used to like Subarus. I used to like the gasoline scene, but ever since I bought Dot the 2005, I just fell in love with diesel. I just like what it can do.
Yeah.
I just I'm super pro diesel. I don't have a problem with gas. I'll give respect where respect's due. I know the EV topic's gonna be a fun one, which I'm finally able to be a little bit more calm about it. Unless you're a Tesla with a stupid Hellcat sticker, then what the hell, man?
Probably saving them from getting vandalized.
Probably. But if you have any suggestions, and I did respond to the comment about how to make the Jeep more efficient and give it a little bit more, put it in the comments. Let us know.
Hey, and also, we're not dogging you guys. You know, this is a channel, and we get a little goofy sometimes. And, if anyone's offended, I'm sorry. It sucks to be you, etc. Whatever excuse you want, you know. But we put stuff out and we talk about it, and if we're wrong, right, or indifferent, it's our opinion.
And then obviously, like we're doing now, if there's something that is kind of like a missed opportunity, we'll go back through like we're about to. And we've been meaning to do this for a minute. It's just, well, we kind of forgot. And Doc also left us for a little bit.
Yep.
And then I'm in busy season, so it's kind of hard to actually sit here and record.
Yeah, true
I am
that.
not a morning person, and I think it bugs Doc some days.
I've got half a day in by the time he gets up,
Yeah, but I'm also like,
working all
you're
night
almost,
long.
yeah, you're
While I'm
almost
doing,
waking back up by the time I get home.
yeah, you work all night long while I'm getting my beautiful sleep.
We have another comment saying because it was our coolant filter miss, one of
Yeah.
our shorts that talked about the coolant filters. And it just says some of these rigs run in nasty environments. Operators don't pay attention, knock dirt and debris in these systems. I'm guilty of that too, because there's filtration. Hold on, I'm gonna let Doc talk because I see the light bulb going.
I agree with him in certain instance in that, but the one biggest take from the coolant filter is it extends your coolant, the veracity of it, how well it's able to handle the temperature extremes and the changes in it inside of the engine. So it isn't necessarily to filter trash out. It's with the puck in there. It's to help your coolant to maintain its consistency.
It's pH balance.
Right. Thank you. I was trying to remember the word. And that's the biggest takeaway from it. Now, even on my Cummins out here, if I could plumb in a coolant filter for them, I'd do that in a heartbeat. Because the cost of antifreeze when you got to change it, when Dodge's recommendation, it's like, good night. They don't give that whole antifreeze away.
Nope. Um, so it just says some of these rigs run in nasty environments. Operators don't pay attention, knock dirt and debris in the system, which he's 100% right. 100%. You get guys that fill in, even top off the coolant and get dirt and all sorts of crap in it. You have
Well,
mechanics that go for it.
sorry about that. Like we've went through this Dust Bowl garbage here. If you got a can of water out or on the station and it's got 3/4 of an inch of mud in the bottom of it. So yeah, I agree there.
Well, they didn't get out with that. Mechanics will just drain the oil in these like catch pans and not clean them out. I'm
That
guilty of
too.
it. I'm 100% guilty of it. But that all depends on if you're working for a fleet. A lot of companies, like a lot of like dealerships, won't allow that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to add to that comment?
I was gonna just add the makeup of the puck.
Okay.
I
Uh,
it's like you said, it's usually to keep the antifreeze
pH balance.
pH balance with it. Anyone who's been around and understands pH, it's like a swimming pool. You know what I mean? Your
Mm-hmm.
pH is too high, it's not good. If the pH is too low, it's not good. You got to supplement it. And it's the same thing with your antifreeze. I know for a fact sometimes you open the cap on the container, not the radiator, mind you, and don't ever do that while it's hot, but you open your catch can and it smells like someone took a dump in it. That's a real good indication that your antifreeze is no bueno.
Right.
And
But that
also, the quality of the water you put in it. They say you're supposed to put like good water
distilled
in it.
water,
Yeah, distilled water, but the reality of that is that you put whatever you got.
pretty much. But that's why they tell you on the big trucks, and that's what we're talking about primarily in this. So it's the big trucks, says the pickups don't have a coolant filter. You can plug them in,
And that's what I was talking about.
um, and that's why they recommend doing it every 6 months, is because the additive pack that's in the filter. But it also depends on the manufacturer, because you got some other manufacturers that don't put really that good of an additive pack in it, but it's really depending on filter
Yeah, and you have some manufacturers like that don't even put the filter on them anymore. Detroit,
or
Hoosiers,
international.
or international. Exactly.
I really don't want to cover this one because I really don't want to get into that one. I'm gonna do it anyways. We had another comment talking about what do your teeth drive? Yeah, I know I got messed up teeth. Called bad genetics and stupid choices.
But
Why you
that
take care of
isn't,
your teeth?
if that's what trips you up as a guy's teeth, don't look in the mirror, man.
Got in too many fights. And we have another comment saying basically what the F are we babbling about? That was our Kohler video. Watch the whole episode. You'll see what we're talking about.
Yeah. A lot of times they
That
just turn it on and don't pay attention to it.
that lift. Well, we get a little excited about this stuff. This is the industry we've been in for a long time. Doc's retired. I'm still in it, which we've talked about why we started this channel, right?
Yeah. Just for take care of stuff out there.
All right. And now, what? Really? Okay, I really don't like the fact that YouTube doesn't really like give me constant updates because I check the our progress every morning and multiple times a day, and
Yeah.
I didn't see this comment until I got into it. We had a comment on our one of our shorts that is in 1936 Cummins' first $1 million profit, and of course somebody said your mom.
Yeah, like I
If you're
said.
if you're doing that to my mom, I feel bad for you.
Yeah. Like I said, you have all levels of stupid out there, and and that's what you got to call it. Guy's got that much sense that he's got to be that stupid to put words up like that instead of going into an actual conversation. Then there's a problem with him.
Well, we're gonna get a lot of that. It is what it is.
Well, yeah, it is what it is, but we can comment on it too because he opened the door. I didn't,
Right.
or you
If you
didn't.
want to say stuff like that,
Don't
whatever,
even
man.
comment.
Oh, that explains it.
Do you know him?
No, he's got a little bit more subscribers than us, but he's a basic mechanic,
Oh,
likes motorcycles.
he's
That's fine.
yeah.
Good for you.
That's
Keep
it.
that crap off our channel.
That's right.
All right, and then somebody really didn't like your comment about Range Rover's engine brake.
I thought we covered that.
No,
We didn't.
we talked about it over the phone, but not on the channel.
Let me see if I can pull the information back up for you. He
I
didn't like.
commented back and I said the Rover Company was founded in 1878, beginning car manufacturing in 1905, later turned into Land Rover Limited in 1978.
Yeah. Let me find it again.
I just wanted to give you the opportunity to actually talk about it
Just a second here. I will get on it.
and talk about some good stuff. Ah, crap. We didn't even talk about that. What? Maybe save it for the next one. Yeah, we'll cover it real quick. I'll go over it while you're looking that up.
All right.
So the Caterpillar thing being bought out is not a thing. So in 2023, Caterpillar had an issue. Oh no, this is a different article. Sorry guys, I got like 3 different articles about this going up. So in 2022, Caterpillar decided to divide and increase its shareholder. There was rumors that Case Equipment bought Cat, but that's not a thing. In 2023, Cat decided to de-invest and then reinvest in manufacturing and stock repurchases and stuff like that. It's still an independent company, but a judge. Let's see if I can find it. Well, on November 23, Caterpillar did sell its Russian assets.
Yeah.
Due to the whole Ukraine conflict. Where did it go? Okay, so there was an issue where Caterpillar was selling through a third party dealership through Ritchie Brothers, and it was $100 million lawsuit from International Construction Products. It got reversed by a federal judge due to because ICP International Construction Products failed to demonstrate that the projected losses were based off solid evidence. So the 100 million thing got switched back. Now apparently there was a breach of contract and Caterpillar wasn't selling ICP actual American made Caterpillar equipment, which they were, according to this article.
Yeah.
So, um, also, there's a lot of stuff going around saying that Caterpillar is making a pickup truck. They are not. John Deere isn't making a truck. Komatsu isn't making a pickup. It's all AI generated. Because trust us, if Caterpillar were to make a pickup, everybody would know about it. You wouldn't be able to pre-order it because it would be full.
That's true.
And Caterpillar also hasn't made a turbocharged V8 since the 80s, I think. That's a 3208, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I don't think they made it since the 80s. 3508.
3408.
That's a
3208.
3208. Really? 1975 to 1990, according to this site.
That was considered back then the Trasham engine. It cost more to rebuild it than it did to buy a new one.
But then there's another website that says they stopped in 1985. So I don't know. So what is this? No, that is not. That's a big boy engine. 1,000 horsepower, but that's an inline. Oh, 1,000 horsepower, 3144 foot-pounds torque at 1,450 RPMs. Industrial engine, obviously, 3508. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's only 250,000. By two, they're small. So one site says 85, one says 95. Should we just call it 85, or was it 90? Whatever I said.
Right.
See, squirrel brain. Totally forget. Good thing I still have it pulled up. That's a bad little engine.
No, it wasn't.
So should we just call it 85 and just play it safe?
Yeah.
Either way, they don't make them no more. The whole point. Well, let me look at the specs real quick. I think that'd be interesting. It is So they have a naturally aspirated version and a turboed version. I apologize, guys. All right, so it's an 8-cylinder V-type diesel engine, 636 cubic inches, 10.4 liters. I want to know. Okay, but now this is saying 99. Make up your mind. So turbocharged versions offering horsepower ratings between 300 horsepower and 435. 3208, also known as the throwaway engine, with the creators claiming that part of the design criteria. That's funny, because we just literally got talked about. Talked about that.
Isn't that
Really?
some?
Wait, hold on. The 3208, because I haven't worked on a whole lot of them, and the ones I have worked on, I haven't seen the inside of them.
Yeah.
They're a parabore? They're a parabore.
Yeah. Look it up.
I am. That's why I'm asking you. Look it up. I am looking it up. Crackhead. A 10.4 liters of parabore. The M11 and the ISM is sleeve bore. Okay.
Yep. That's why they were trash them.
I'm surprised people didn't bore them out and wow. I'm surprised people didn't sleeve them and bore them out and put sleeves in them. Okay.
Well, that's the thing. Back then, it was too expensive.
Well, that's true. Wow. Okay. It's not the only one that they do.
Yeah.
All right, so the C4, the C7, the C9, the C18. Nope, that's wrong. C18 and C15 are both sleeve blocks. C32, 3512, 3516, the C280, which is obviously it's a skid steer engine, so obviously they're not gonna do that.
Right.
Anything National Gas, which I don't believe, and the C9.3. And the 3208.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's shocking. Did you find your Range Rover stuff yet?
No, not yet. I'm still looking.
So covered that. So yeah, just need to cover up the Range Rover thing. Then yeah, that's a wrap. Not a bad deal this round.
No,
Should we finish up Cummins next time?
Yeah, we can.
We're trying to get back on track, guys. We really are. Terrible about it. No gator sightings this time.
No kidding. How'd that happen?
Well,
He in school? He ain't
no.
woke up yet.
No, he keeps coming around the corner.
That's he.
Yeah. Keeps looking at me.
He stink eyeing you?
Yeah, he'll do this.
I'll look this up and find it again and keep it this time, and that way we can go through it. Otherwise, I'm going to take up too much time.
Hold on, let's see if I can find it real quick.
Well, anyway, that lawsuit from Caterpillar was pretty interesting. That it's the company that let me see. It said road milling machines.
Okay.
And where did I see that at? I thought it said that somewhere in here that John Deere is a subsidiary of Wortigen or owns Wortigen or something.
Oh yeah. Oh, I hate this thing.
What's
Yeah, we're
that?
gonna have to look it up. Find it. I thought you said that in your notes.
But
Oh
what?
wait.
The Rover
Yeah.
or the Caterpillar? I did. I sent it to you, I thought.
Uh, how many phones have I gone through recently?
True that.
Yeah, no, I'm not finding it either.
On Caterpillar?
On Land Rover.
I will find it and I will copy it and keep it and send one to you, and we'll uh, send one in the U.S. mail.
Wow. We're gonna go through snail mail.
Yeah,
Yep. So Land Rover started in 1885 as a bicycle manufacturer.
right.
The initial Land Rover model, the Series 1, was based on the Willys Jeep, which was used in World War II. So probably what happened is they were a bike company, and then the First World War started, and they're like, "Yo, you need to start making military equipment." And they're probably like, "Crap, but we'll help our country." And then the Second World
Right.
War was like, "Yo, you need to stop all production because we need to start making equipment." And they're like, "Got you." Or as the kids nowadays call it, "Bet, bro."
Yeah.
Interesting. But we'll talk more. We'll get more into that.
Yeah, I'll look it up and get it sent to you. So,
Maybe I'll do my hair next time.
exactly.
But don't be hesitant to throw stuff in the comments. We'll answer them. Yeah, apparently even
Yeah.
if they're junk ones too.
And so if we're salty, so be it. People, they throw their opinion out. We get to throw ours out. Fair
Yeah,
is
pretty
fair.
much. We're just two dudes on the YouTubes. Well, on the interwebs.
Yeah.
Trying to go in depth and stuff, trying to educate and talk about our experiences. So if you don't like it, don't watch it. Sounds like I just said.
There you go.
So
Keep your
anyhow,
comments to yourself. Yep.
your turn.
Hey, thank you for watching the Liquid Dinosaur show, and we had no Gators show up today. He's sneaking around there. He's getting stealthy. Probably going to do a death roll here pretty quick. And we'd like to have you subscribe, uh, comment, watch our shows. Uh, just do what you like to do. That's we try our best and do what we can. This
Like
is
and share.
Doc, and like, subscribe, all of the above. This is Ewok and Doc and Ewok, and here we go.
See you later, guys.